Hello, everybody, again, and welcome to my channel. It's nice to be here. It's nice to share a lot. In some of my past videos, I felt um, everybody's energy, and sometimes you're here with me, and sometimes you're not. And I realized that even when I write things and I put my thoughts on paper, I seldom do I think about what I write, and there's always things that are not that don't make sense in the moment when I write them. So reading back on what I'm about to read to you, mostly keeping my head down, I will certainly be saying things that even to this at the moment of writing it made sense, but it didn't make any sense now, unfortunately. Which I expect to add a few things here and there. Certain things that happened today, meetings, galactic meetings, and even to the point of like archangels, I believe. It's funny. I once had a reading, and I had a one-on-one chat, and I was able to communicate with the Andromedans at some point, and I was able to feel their energy. And to feel someone else's energy is very interesting because your heart center is opening. And my method has always been to just accept the things that are there and accept the negative and the positive. Accept it all. Use your discernment to weed out the hmm, the things that just don't resonate. Those things that really just don't make sense to you. So that's just a brief introduction for everyone out there. Um, so let me just start this, and as I pick up on things that I'm remembering, I'll go ahead and make sure that I verbalize that feeling or that possible channeled message that comes in every once in a while because I can feel some positive energies around. Okay. I am listening to your questions, and some are not coming in. Others are off. And to give you a perspective, let's say if you've asked someone on Monday if they can take you on Saturday to go grocery shopping, then that's how I felt at that moment. So maybe there was an interaction, and you believed enough and have had the faith to um, manifest that in your life, then it won't be a Saturday um, interaction where you would know immediately that you personified the idea of a message and received maybe not an answer but a reply. It's all faith. A lot of things are neutral, a lot of things are balanced. So I'm going to answer a few questions. We were always just thinking, you and I, Andromedan or Pleiadian, and it just kept saying Andromedan or Pleiadian, Andromedan or Pleiadian, and it's both. You're half Pleiadian and half Andromedan. That answers one question there. The other one is very interesting. This one is uh, the monad, right? As above, so below. So if the Greek gods were real gods and we modeled the justice system based on Greek mythology, or in some instance of law that was used back then you can almost kind of say that that kind of structure that we have now, the foundation, is based on uh, hierarchy of advanced civilizations. So we're not that far off from what's we humanity as a collective models a lot of what's outside of ourselves. So when I say the monad is, and the way I remember it, and I'm paraphrasing here, is saying that if you can understand the very simple basic structures of this space time where we live in, then you can pretty much guess what's outside and out there, right? So, property, people or civilizations, they own property out there, right? They travel freely, they have laws, they have customs. So, let's remove the guesswork out of it and apply it to what we have around us. I hope that answers your question there. So I'm going to start the reading part. I want to make this video as short as possible, guys. Thank you. So Ascension energies. So have you been feeling fatigue or headaches or confused or lost? And how do you feel now? Well, there's recent energies that have been coming from the sun. This X-class solar flares have allowed us to wake up in a way that I remember how I was waking up years ago. Okay, I recommend strongly to just make your body alkaline, and without being too specific on how you're gonna achieve it, make your body alkaline. You use whatever you need to get to that level of hydration, so that you can, um, you know, rest assured that your body will adjust to the new incoming energies and absorb them in your field. Okay. Um, so then you start to realize which of our fellow humans are ready and which are not. There is always a an article that I'll post. I'll keep a mental note about that. There is an article that I will post called "The First Ascension Wave," the first wave of ascension, which is good, meaning that there's a second wave, a third, a fourth, fifth. So whoever you are writing off as, okay, Michael. Whoever you are writing off as, oh well, this person isn't even the least ready to go where we're going here. Like you just stand aside. Let me handle this. I got this. Well, we'll all move as a group and as a collective. Some of you even think that you're reptilian, and you're not even that. You're a very highly advanced soul. And one way of that I was explained of this situation is very simple. And I'm going to give you a monad of an understanding of how I see things for myself and how I can project a blueprint of an understanding that doesn't panic me. It just calms me down. It calms me down to know this. So, a planetary ascension, which is a solar system ascension, which then become a galactic ascension, which then becomes a super universal ascension. So think about the trillions and whichever other name they got for a whole bunch of numbers of people ascending at once, probably not gradually. And think about those higher ascended beings that are saying, man, Earth needs to step it up because we're holding up this super ascension that we have here going on in the next who know when time. So treat yourself nice to the process because we all doing this as a collective, as one. So don't beat yourself up over this too much. So when I wrote here galactic news, the galactic news, um, the Andromedans are going to hold the keys to the third dimensional level of existence. So this new and improved tool without the not so good system of enslavement elements will be used to improve those souls that want to experience third dimensional growth as a collective. So we had a channeling of a collective group that specifically asked if they could. They specifically asked, "How does it feel to be in the third dimension?" They were asking for advice. Our collective group of souls want to go into a third dimensional reality. How is it for you? How is it? How does it work? They were asking all these questions because we live in a moment in time. We live in a space, right? That we need to fix, right? And this space time is can be measured. It's difficult to explain, but you can measure this. And our thoughts aren't exactly our reality because what creates the structure of a third dimensional field, a third dimensional space, is in fact the blueprint. It's the form factor of that space and that structure. Do you remember when I said that it's a mathematical equation to be in a third dimensional field? One part is mathematical, the other part is um, trigonometry, in a sense, an overlay of the Fibonacci sequence. And it's just a very basic understanding of this. I just told you what that is. But it's a two-part deal. Let's see. So these souls, they want to explore a third dimension, and they ask, how's it going to feel for us to go down in a third dimensional structure, and how are we going to experience the third dimensional limitations? And they're just going to go through a learning process that humanity has gone through: famine, wars, peace times, and all mixture of what we've had is their monad is going to be the same blueprint that they're going to experience through us. Because when you look down and you see, you are not exactly, for them, they're not exactly getting it. You need to be here to count, you know. As an example of that, you need to live through the experience for you to know for yourself. Otherwise, you don't know how water feels that falls on your head. How does water feel when it falls on your head? That's hard to explain. It's not too easy. All right. So you will start to remember your past lives, and then you start to embody all these experiences from them and apply them to this life. You're gonna get there slowly, eventually. I'm keeping track of time too. I'm trying to leave it at maybe 20 minutes. I don't hate to push this out for too long for you guys. So at some point, the fifth dimensional timeline was fixed in place. The best way to describe this is very simple. And it goes to talk about the first wave, the second wave, and the third wave that we have upcoming for a lot of us. And I think a lot of us have already experiencing or are experiencing the first wave. I don't think I'm experiencing the first wave totally yet, because it's supposed to be like the most magnificent thing in the world that again, you'd have to feel and know for yourself. Otherwise, I mean, it's, I don't think I know if I'm there yet either, because it's just so shock and awe that it'll take time to settle into these kinds of energies as we move forward. But the fifth dimension is a very thick rope, right? And these fifth dimensional existences are bound together. And the rope example helps me to explain this a little differently. So the rope is made of threads, right? Now, this thread that you have, you could you could be with someone in one thread, right? While there's a group of other people sitting at different threads or at different levels within that same rope of existence as you go into the fifth dimension. And excuse me. And we're going to the fifth dimension. So at times it may seem like it's a different experience for you, even though that we're both all on the same ship. If we were all on the same ship, not everybody's at the same place, but we're all heading in the same direction. We're all living through this very same week of April, but for some of us, the week of April is a lot shorter than some that think that this week of April is a lot longer and has extended itself for more than usual, while others would say, well, oh, it's Friday already. And you're thinking, man, it should have been Friday 3 days ago. So that's kind of explaining it how it means. It's flux. It's nothing that's ever fixed. All right. So you'll live in a fifth dimensional frequency, right? It's a heartfelt frequency, and it's supposed to expand while you're embodying this third dimensional vessel. Okay? So, this field around you eventually, you know, those that are going up and down between third and fourth aren't necessarily going to live through that process that you're living. They're going to have their own experience within that same rope that I gave you the example of before, and it'll be going in a direction depending on where you are for yourself. So this process is tailored for you, but it involves everybody. Okay? Just, keep your body alkaline. All right. I've said this before, and I don't think there's any repeating of this necessary. But depending on your belief system and the challenges that you're going to experience as we go through this process, it's going to be specifically what you want it to be. And I'm going to take this time out to almost end the video, and I'm going to end it with an example that I gave myself some time ago, and I read about this too. So, is how'd it go? It's okay. So I said to myself months ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I started just every morning I wake up and I'd say to myself, I am happy. I am happy. And I've said it enough that I believe it for myself, and the energy around me was very synchronous. There's a lot of synchronicity in the space that existed around me. It was a force of habit to get myself to do that, and I stopped, and I haven't felt that energy before, but there's a lot of residual positive things. Okay? So that simple phrase made my life and everything around me change, because a lot of people saw in me that I was just this bright bulb of energy, and they said, "Wow, you know what? It feels great. It's that moth that wants to go to the light but doesn't want to get burned. You're radiant and amazing." And it's the simplest things to say to yourself. It's very simple. It's very easy. You just have to break through those layers. You have to cut away at those filters, and those just what doesn't feel right that's been imposed in our society. You know, differences in gender. Everybody has a role. That's easy to explain. Differences in our upbringing, that has its regional, uh, you know, customs and beliefs that have you look at and experience another person uniquely for who they are and the way that and the circumstances that brought them to your life, so that you can experience them and not judge them or think differently of them and say, well, here's another person that's on the same planet that has a complete different journey, and he has a story to tell or she has a story to tell. And guess what? I want to hear this story because it's not about me and my clan or my group or my specific um, scenario or upbringing that I've had for myself. It's about the sharing and it's about others. And who wouldn't want to know about an Eskimo, or who wouldn't want to know about living in a tropical place all your life? Who wouldn't want to know about you know the customs and the belief systems that are created over a society or group of indigenous tribes that grow up around a volcano? You know, what are their understanding of nature that I don't have if I grew up in the city? And these are the things that are going to bring us together instead of thinking about this separation. And there's tension. Tension is always there, but I don't necessarily qualify that as a misgiving, because you bringing your energy and I'm bringing my energy. And I think if we can realize that at a very basic level, then doesn't mean I'm gonna be your energy or we're gonna exchange, you know, any sort of. We're not gonna exchange as I'm not gonna adapt all your beliefs and you're not gonna take mine, but you will understand where your boundary is without being overly aggressive about your point of view in life. So keep an open mind. I think that kind of sums it all up. In any case, I hope the audio in this was alright. I hope that you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I certainly feel better after I write these things down rather than just, going off the hip, because it makes it easier for some reason. And I'm going to go back to that because I stopped writing it for a while. It just didn't feel right. I'm back to writing. It's fine. So, hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy your evening. And we'll see each other very soon. Have a good one.